India has the world's largest and most experienced trained troops trained for high altitude battle. A military expert affiliated to China's leading maker of equipment for the People's Liberation Army (PLA) has said, adding that mountaineering is an essential skill for each Indian soldiers deployed in the mountains. At present, the world's largest and experienced country with plateau and mountain troops is neither the US or Russia nor any European powerhouse, but India, wrote a senior editor of Modern Weaponry magazine. The magazine, considered comprehensive military and defense journal, is affiliated to the state-owned China North Industries Group Corporation Limited, which describes itself as the main platform responsible for developing mechanized equipments for PLA, the Chinese army. It's one of the world's largest defense contractors and is also closely involved in President Xi Jinping's legacy project, the Belt and Road Initiative. The write-up comes in a backdrop of a standoff between India and Chinese border troops along the line of actual control (LAC) in the mountainous Ladakh region. It began last month and was the topic of talks between military commanders last weekend. Wang's article, published in thepaper.cn in the website, is a rare critique of an Indian army wing in Chinese media. Wang's take was announced: mountaineering is an essential skill for almost every member of the Indian Mountain Army. To this end, India even recruited a large number of professional mountaineers and amateur mountaineers from the private sector. With more than 2 lakh troops in 12 divisions, the Indian Mountain Force is the largest mountain fighting force in the world, Huang wrote. Huang said that since the 1970s, Indian military has established and expanded the size and personnel of the mountain army on the large scale and has planned to create a mountain strike force of more than 50,000 troops. Given the example of the Siachen Glacier, Huang wrote, the Indian Army has set up hundreds of posts in Siachen Glacier area with an altitude of more than 5,000 meters, with 6,000 to 7,000 fighters stationed. The highest point has reached 6,749 meters. Huang didn't mention the source of the information, but went on to give a list of weaponry that Indian Army has deployed in the mountains suitable to high altitude battles. In terms of equipment, the Indian military, through procurement from abroad and domestic research and development, has equipped a large number of main battle weapons adapted to the combat environment of the plateau and mountains. The Indian military has also spent heavily on advanced heavy equipments from the US, including the M777, the world's lightest 155mm towed howitzers, and the Chinook heavy transport helicopters that lifts the gun to boost his firepower and anti-armor capabilities. Huang also mentioned the high-caliber sniping rifle that the Indian Army deployed at high altitude are now equipped. The author also listed shortcomings of the Indian Army's mountain troops, including the lack of self-sufficient in weaponry and ammunition, especially needed for Western weaponry. In addition, there are many conflicts and differences between the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. This has also led the Indian Army to decide to equip its own US-made AH-64 Longbow, the Apache helicopters, instead of relying entirely on airfield support from the Air Force, Huang wrote. Incidentally, India and the US signed an estimated $800 million contract in February this year in New Delhi for the delivery of 6 Boeing Apache Guardian attack choppers to the Indian Army's aviation corps. Thank you for listening to YFE News. Kindly subscribe if you're not subscribed. We will be back with another news that matters.